Let's give you a quick look at today's business headlines. And for help with that, I want to welcome in global business analyst Hilary Fordwich. Hilary, good morning.
Good morning, Christina.
Well, let's start with the markets, which closed this week. This morning, futures are way up ahead of opening bell. Hilary, there's a lot of earnings being reported this week. There's Tesla, there's Netflix. Investors, what can we expect from them? And are these futures just investors pumping money into air travel, into oil, ahead of that July 27th Federal Reserve decision?
Well, absolutely, yes, they could be. I will say there's lots of things going on this week. The European Central Bank is going to meet on Thursday. I think you're going to see the Fed and European central banks and banks across the world, central banks raising interest rates. It really looks like there are a lot of analysts are really optimistic because obviously we have soaring inflation, soaring gas prices. Brent crude was up this morning in London, so was copper, so were a lot of critical minerals. So I think it's basically optimism. I think that people cannot face the dire circumstances of these raised interest rates in a time of soaring inflation, although it will curb it and maybe calm things down.
Hilary, Paul Pelosi, the husband of Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, he just purchased 20,000 shares of NVIDIA, which is a semiconductor manufacturer, computer chips, essentially. That's about between $1 and $5 million. We know the Senate is expected to vote on a bill that could pump billions of dollars into domestic semiconductor manufacturers, taking some of that away from China. This seems a little bit like insider trading, no?
Well, a little bit, yes, that's a great understatement. I would say don't get angry, get installing the app Iris. Actually, it was Craig Holman. He's at the left-leaning Public Citizen think tank. So this is amazing that he would raise this issue. He said this is why there are apps to track what other people trade. So they have to make disclosures as to what they've traded. And we know about these trades. So use that app, see what they're trading, because it is a minor miracle that everything that Nancy Pelosi trades seems to have an impact. And she's had an incredible raise in terms of all of the stocks being successful. So really, she's rather the wolf of Congress, I would say.
You're right, though. Don't get mad. Just do exactly what they're doing. Download the app, invest in yourself.
Yes, and what's hypocritical is think about Senator Richard Barr. I mean, he ended up having to step down because of the FBI investigation into insider trading about coronavirus. He didn't run for re-election in 22, even though he was cleared. And Martha Stewart went to jail. So Hillary's hypocrisy here is the same thing should happen to Nancy Pelosi. And last but not least, if we actually restricted the trading that all those in Congress, both left and right, Republicans and Democrats, could do, maybe it would actually make them less likely to stay in office like she has since 1987, just looking to get wealthy off this insider trading.
Making millions and millions. Delta also set to purchase 100 Boeing 737 MAX 10s for $13.5 billion. Hilary, is this going to help Boeing and Delta take off together?
Well, yes, absolutely, of course, and also it will also help jobs in the US. What I would say is that this is great. Obviously, it's always good when you see the airline industry or any business really flourishing. However, who on earth is going to fly these planes? We have a pilot shortage that is projected to continue for about 6 years. Do you ever wonder why? Well, of course, we all know during COVID, obviously, there was a laying off of a lot of pilots and a lot decided to take early retirement. But you know what the real issue is here? Go back to 2011, when Obama started to draw down the military. This goes back to those Obama years. When you draw down the military and you draw down the funding for the Air Force, you draw down the pipeline of pilots. So when your flight is canceled or your flight is changed and you can't go anywhere, just remember that was the drawdown to the military.
And then finally, Hilary, what do you make of this? A Ukrainian gymnast auctioning off his silver Olympic medal from the 2000 Sydney Summer Games. The bidding currently at $4,200. The money's going to go to support Ukraine in the war against Russia. In what other way is there to support his country?
This is the way you should do it. You should actually get in on this bidding, and this way those funds are being donated directly to the war and military effort. I say support him.
What a great thing to do for his country. Hilary Fordwich, thank you so much for coming on this morning.
Pleasure.